Hi loves, happy full moon in Virgo. If you're getting this, you subscribe to my newsletter, so thank you very much. You may have also seen in there that we're this full moon on March 9th is going to be the end of the Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde is something I've always tried to stay positive about because it's really easy to fall into the hype around it and wait for things to go wrong. But it actually took years of just a bunch of things going wrong and people asking me if Mercury was in retrograde for me to see that there was actually some sort of pattern there. And I would say that this Mercury retrograde has been one of the spiciest I've experienced, where my car's off the road, my computer is acting up. So fingers crossed this recording will work. Just like a whole bunch of miscommunication with my husband, like all these just things that are where things maybe normally flow okay, they definitely were not flowing okay in the last few weeks. So this full moon will bring an end to that cycle, which can sometimes bring its own share of challenges too, but I would like to think that this is a great time with this full moon to kind of recharge our energy and just be ready for what's coming. We've got spring coming, longer days, brighter days. For those of us, I definitely associate myself as one of them who really struggles in the dark days. As much as I love the gloomy weather, I do notice the difference in my mood. So longer days to spend outside and that kind of thing. So we're going to look at what's going to come up for the next 4 weeks between this full moon and the next one. I've been looking at one card for each of those weeks, just kind of what we can expect, what we can work with, and that kind of thing. I'm going to pull a healing card for this month too, because I feel like we need it. Also, this last month seems to have been just full of people who I care about losing someone who's really important to them. So I think that's kind of taken its toll too, because it's one of those situations where there's nothing you can do to help, and don't enjoy that. So with that being said, let's look at what we have going forward. The first card we're going to draw will be the first week of this moon cycle, starting today. Ace of Swords, nice. Let's see if you can see that. So swords are air energy, and they are all about our logic, communication. They're the way we perceive things going on around us, the way we, everything that goes on mentally for us. And aces are a new seed, so a brand new beginning to something. So this week might be it'll be a gift of a new communication style, probably with someone in your life, or even in general, if there's a way that you've been, especially with Mercury retrograde, with kind of all the things that I suggested that might be contributing to our moods, if there's some way that you've been communicating in a way that you're not happy with and it's not the ideal way you want to present yourself or enter into discussions, there'll be a new seed, and I find that the aces often come in the form of an opportunity where you kind of catch yourself about to do something the way you've always done it and realize that this is an opportunity to try it differently if it hasn't been working for you. So the Ace of Swords will probably come where you'll find an opportunity to just interact and possibly even, because it is logically, it could even be a new seed in the way that you interpret things. So where maybe normally you get defensive about something or triggered by something, this might be an opportunity to feel that discomfort, recognize that this is a conversation topic or an ideology that doesn't really resonate well with you, and to, instead of responding to that in a reactionary way, to maybe sit with it for a second and think about it a little bit, and maybe even crack that seed open a little bit and look at where your previous approach to this kind of thing came from, and possibly do some healing there. But it's a really positive card. It's a new opportunity for growth in this area. And sometimes I see this card come up too when there's been a falling out of, with someone in your life. And even the imagery kind of reminds me of like extending that olive branch. Like if it's somebody who you didn't want to lose contact with. I had this with a friend. If she's watching, she'll probably know who she is, where it was something we both felt very passionately about, and it was just bad timing, and we kind of fell out over it, but I always knew I wanted to be in contact with her still. And so we both kind of found a way to extend an olive branch to each other, and that was a very good demonstration of this, because it's just something we recognize we both feel strongly about, and instead of arguing about it, we just appreciate that now. We just kind of go forward with our friendship with that in mind. So that's the energy around this card. So it's kind of a wonderful way to start this new moon cycle. So be open and watch for those opportunities. The second week, again, I should have a calendar in front of me so I can give you the dates, but anyway, second week in this moon cycle. Five of Wands. Creative struggle. So wands are fire energy, and they are our will, our passions, the things we really care about, that spark that gets lit up inside of us. Sometimes like in the realm of social justice or things that we're willing to fight for. Often intermingled with creativity as well. So things that we like create with our hands. Like, remember, creativity isn't just about art or painting, or it's just about taking an idea, something we want to make, and making it. So it can be as simple as the way we make our meals, or the way we dress, the way we just create anything. And the Five of Wands, fives tend to be a bit of a challenging number in the tarot, and they're often challenging because it's necessary change. So in the fours, we have this kind of comfortable foundational energy where we can get stuck if we're not careful. So I've learned to love the fives in that they come in and they kind of nudge us out of that. They don't let us stay where we're comfortable. They say, okay, it's time. You need to go find out what's happening next. And it can jostle you a little bit. And with this one, this five is more of a playful energy. So often you can imagine five people. The image I always get is five people sitting around a table who have maybe worked on a creative project together, whether that's a film or writing something, and everyone's really excited about the project. So they're kind of all yelling over top of each other, and it comes from a good place. It comes because they all want to be a part of this creation, but it can get a bit chaotic if you're watching it. And when I'm doing a reading for someone, I often point out the hen or the rooster, whatever that is. I'm not good with my farm birds. And to be, if it's happening and you're not enjoying being involved in that creative conflict, it's okay to step away and just kind of let it play itself out, because it is a playful energy, and it's not something that's likely going to erupt into something harmful. It's just a bunch of people wanting to get their voices heard, and it will kind of play itself out and come back into order. So if you enjoy being a part of that conversation, if you love kind of debating and you want to, you feel very strongly about it and you're enjoying, and it's kind of feeding you or nourishing you to be a part of that engagement, then by all means enjoy it, but don't be afraid to step away and kind of let it burn itself out. If you have the opposite effect from that and you find it's wearing you out and you're feeling tired and you're getting discouraged, then just step away and let the people who do enjoy that kind of battle. I mean, this could even be on social media, to be honest. With I noticed with U.S. elections, there's a lot of my friends are engaging in really challenging conversations, and it's so important. But I know that, being in Canada and feeling a bit helpless, I sometimes have to take a step away. And so it could even be something like that. So yeah, put yourself wherever feels right for you. If you feel like you want to be a part of that conversation, you want to have your voice heard, then jump in. It will likely be not the best time to have your voice heard because everyone's trying to be heard at the same time, but there's no harm in doing it if it's not wearing you out, I guess. So that's week 2. Week 3. Oh, this is neat. So this is actually, I do a card of the month for Energy, Wisdom, and Tea Lounge, which is just north of Mission. It's a really beautiful shop to check out if you haven't been there already. They have crystals, tarot cards, and Carolyn's wonderful. She owns the shop. The reading that I did for her, like the overall energy of the month, was the Six of Pentacles. And so it's exciting to see it here because sixes bring harmony again. And pentacles, excuse me, are earth energy. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. I get so excited talking about tarot that I blow my voice out. Excuse me. So Six of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. If we look at the card that comes before, this is a card of kind of like struggle. Some, like I said about fives, they tend to bring challenges, and often the Five of Pentacles is associated with financial struggle, maybe some discomfort around home stability, that kind of thing, even health occasionally. But six brings that flow back. It brings usually wherever that strain has been, say it is finances for you, it brings that flow back in such a comfortable way that you're actually able to help others. So you can not only feel that that's moving again in your realm, you can also pay that forward and help out other folks. So, if it's your health, if you've been feeling really tired and you haven't been able to give back to people around you, six brings you some more vitality, makes you feel stronger in the body. If it's been home security, this will likely bring back some certainty there, because I've been there several times and I know how immobilizing and destabilizing not having a secure place to live can be. So sixes, so the third week, you'll start to feel a flow again. Things will hopefully become a bit easier, and just whatever areas felt very stuck and very blocked for you will kind of open up in a nice gentle way, though it's not kind of like the floodgates where all of a sudden you don't know what to do with everything that's coming through. It's a nice, healthy, gentle reopening of something for you. So that's the 6. So that's week 3. Week 4. Interesting. So 9 of Pentacles reversed. So, oh, sorry, the light's kind of making it hard to see. I'm going to turn it upright so you can see the image is upright. Or maybe not. It's just wanting to wash that out. It's a bit better. There. Interesting, because the 9 of Pentacles upright in a lot of ways is like the 6 of Pentacles. But because it's reversed, so 9 of Pentacles, it has a few different connotations, and it can be about having kind of arrived in an area of your life that you really wanted to get to, and then kind of wondering, it's right before you are really grateful for it. It's kind of that last, the best example I can use for this, and the reverse meaning is quite similar, it just might be a bit more exaggerated, is that you know, if you've always wanted to live in a big house, your whole life you dreamt of having this big house with lots of rooms, and you finally get there, and you know you're in a position where you were able to afford it. You buy this big house, and all of a sudden you're kind of like, you know, it's that kind of wondering if what you were wishing for was actually a good fit for you, and it can be a moment of a bit of doubt. It's kind of looking back, and it's quite healthy, because it's sort of assessing, okay, why did I want this so badly? And you're never stuck, right? If there's something you've been wanting and then you get it, and it's kind of like, oh, this isn't quite what I thought, it's okay to rebuild. It's totally fine. If it's a big house, that's a terrifying purchase, and I understand how you wouldn't want to take it lightly. But if you've found that you've built something for yourself, and you're kind of, it's all coming together, it's okay to feel that doubt, and it's okay to reassess whether or not this thing that you built is going to serve you the way you thought it would. That's healthy. You don't want to abandon it because you're having doubts. You want to be sure about that, but it's that kind of last, before you fully settle in, because the Pentacles are very earthy. They're very stabilizing. They're quite a feeling of coming home, kind of. So that 9 is just sort of am I sure I still want this before I take the final step? So it could even be that hesitation before you put the final brick on your house, if, you know, to give you an image. In this card, you know, she's got the, I believe it's a peregrine falcon with her. And she's in her garden, it looks like, you know, like a beautiful stone garden. But her look on her face is not one of like being really thrilled about being there. It's more like, okay, I've got this now. So I feel like it's that pause before you take the final step. It could even be that feeling, I've never purchased a large house, so I'm going completely by my imagination, but I imagine just before you sign like the mortgage, or before you put that final step in that will make it solid, it's that, oh, I wonder, you know, are we sure we want to do this, I guess is what I feel like, especially with it reversed here. It's sort of a just a wondering whether or not this life that we've kind of built around us still fits us, because oftentimes with the Pentacles, it can take quite a long time to build whatever it is that you're building. I guess an example I would have is that being in my mid-40s, I've always wanted a homestead. I've dreamt of that, having property, having lots of animals, and like doing rescue animals and stuff. And then the other day I was hauling some bags up from a, you know, comparatively short distance compared to a homestead, and I started having that thought about like, am I still able to do that? Am I physically going to be able to maintain a homestead? Like, you know, it's been 20 years of me wanting this so badly, and it hasn't worked out. So I guess that would be a similar energy too. Is that, or should I aim more for an acre where I can grow some food, like be a bit more, still dream big, but like also look at the reality of it. So what might happen is that third week where our finances start to flow again, it could be that we're going to start reassessing our goals. And actually this full moon in Virgo is a lot about spring cleaning our goals, our life, like really looking at what we want to have happen next. And so that flow of finances might really get us thinking again about, okay, so what is it that we want to do? What do we see next for ourselves? So it's pretty exciting. This is a healing card. usually write these into my readings, and it's something to keep close to your chest for the next month, sort of a personal, just something to keep in mind. Oh, amazing. The Magician. That is so cool. So it's interesting with the Pentacles too, because the Magician is all about creation. He's not the first card in the tarot because there is a 0, but he's number 1. He's sort of that spark. He goes well with the aces, where you get this like upsurge of energy. He also has all of the elements that he needs. So he's got everything at his disposal that I say him, but it's just a masculine active energy. It's this energy coming in is an embodiment of having everything you need at your disposal to create what you want. So this is going to be a huge month of really take stock on what, sometimes when we think about our goals that are really big, we kind of keep pushing them farther away, like maybe in 10 years, maybe, and this might be a good time to think, okay, like bring it in a bit, make it a bit uncomfortable for yourself. Think, maybe I don't want to wait that long. What would I need to do to have the things that I really want in my life, say in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? What would I need to do? What do I really want to create for myself? What is the life that I want more than anything? And really start looking at what steps and what actions you need to take to make that happen. And the Magician, he's really, it's about dreaming big. It's really about not being too conservative when you're thinking about what would really, what would mean the most to me to create for myself and for my family, if you have a family. I also love that in the Druidcraft Tarot, which is this one, he's wearing those feathers. Like it could be a time too to really stand strong about the things that you're excited about, and just know that it's just this raw creative force that you can tap into that right now. And as we know with life, there's an ebb and flow. We're not always going to feel like the Magician. Not every month, not every year is going to feel like this burst of raw energy. But when it does, it can be kind of fun to ride that a little bit. I mean, don't burn yourself out, but kind of let that excitement and that creative energy, creative flow, let it really build up in you and have fun with it. Yeah, so keep the Magician close to your heart this month, and think about what it means to you to create. What does it mean to you to build your life the way it feels right for you? Seems to be the overall theme of the month. So yeah, I guess that's everything. I wish you all well for this full moon cycle. I wish you all the best health and lots of love in your life, food, abundance, warmth, new growth. There's little green things budding up everywhere. And if it's a nice time to start learning about foraging very safely, of course, like what plant medicines are growing all around you. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I hope that was helpful. If you want to book a reading with me, you just have to go to apothecary.ca, and there's a tarot reading section. If you have any questions about this reading or tarot in general, please feel free to contact me. My Gmail is apothecarytarot@gmail.com. Or you can use the contact me section of my website too. I'm always happy to talk about tarot, and I love answering questions to the best of my ability anyway. So lots of love, and until the next moon cycle, take care.